Two-tone watches have gone out of fashion recently. Probably in the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, we're seeing two-tone watches be relegated to your granddad's Rolex. I've got two watches with me here today. One of them is your granddad's Rolex. The other one might be my favourite watch Rolex have released in the last 10 years. Let's take a little time and talk a little watches. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Watch Dealers. My name's Lewis, I'm one of the owners here at TWD, and today we're talking two-tone wristwatches. Now, I had a little bit of a jab at the start of this video with your granddad's Rolex. This Rolex is actually Paul's personal collection. Now, Paul is the other owner here at the Watch Dealers. He also happens to be my father and the grandfather to my two children. Sorry about that little dig, but this is definitely granddad's Rolex. Before we get into the main part of the video, we'll do the wristwatch check, get it out of the way. Today, I'm wearing an Omega Seamaster Professional 300. This is the model with the steel bezel, navy blue wave dial. It's a gorgeous piece. I'm really enjoying wearing this one, and I've really thought about adding this one to my personal collection. It is up for sale right now at www.thewatchdealers.com.au, but if it doesn't go in the next few days, it may end up in my watch box. Who knows? All right, so let's talk about two-tone watches. We see two-tone as watch collectors as something of a relic from the 1980s, that sort of Jonathan Bateman, don't touch the Rolex from American Psycho.
Don't touch the watch.
That's been the story of two-tone for 20 to 30 years at this point. It's the watch that your father or your grandfather had. I think that that's changing, and I want to show you a couple of pieces that demonstrate that that's changing and why Rolex specifically have made two-tone fashionable again. First, let's take a look at the Rolex Datejust. This is traditional 36mm. The one we have here is a black dial, and you can see it's got a lot of depth to the dial. There's a beautiful, rich lacquer black that almost sucks away the light. I mean, even here under studio lighting, you can see how the dial just disappears into itself. This is the quintessential two-tone Rolex Datejust. These are often seen with champagne dials. We see here an excellent example. We've got the full fluted 18-karat gold bezel. Now, of course, traditional to the time, and what was sort of standard of the time and of the era is the full yellow gold. And this is what, in my view, really takes this watch into, for want of a better word, the old man styling. It's the full, bright, brilliant yellow gold, full crown of yellow gold, and of course we see the Jubilee bracelet executed, to perfection. Rolex absolutely nailed the Jubilee bracelet. It's stunning on these watches. And we see the outer links in stainless steel, the inner links, the three inner links there, in yellow gold. With this watch, we have the traditional or the pre-sort of 2000s Rolex clasp. It's a press clasp, friction fit. It's pretty standard and pretty bog standard, if I'm honest with you. Rolex clasps are a bit of a disappointment until quite late in their history. But nevertheless, the Rolex Datejust here is a stunning watch. It is essentially the only Rolex you'll ever need. It's great. You can't argue against this piece, other than it's looking a little bit old now. But let's take a look at how Rolex have changed the game. Here, we have the Rolex GMT Master 2 Root Beer. This watch is phenomenal. The red gold, rose gold, and two-tone is absolutely amazing. This is what two-tone can be and should be moving forward. Solid case, solid construction. I mean, of course, we have the beautiful rose gold, red gold bezel, goes all the way around. You have that gorgeous root beer bezel on this piece with the black and then that sort of champagne root beer color for the second half of that bezel, delineating the time zones. We have the full 18 karat gold crown, again in rose gold. This watch features the maxi case that we're all used to at this point with Rolex. Obviously, the new Submariner has slimmed that down. People either love that or hate that. People either love this or hate this case. For me, it works perfectly on a watch like this. Take a look at how the center links are just perfectly flat and gorgeously executed in red gold. This watch, obviously not on a Jubilee, obviously it's on an oyster bracelet. For me, the GMT Master 2 belongs on an oyster bracelet. It's a sports watch and it should have the sports bracelet. So we're not really comparing apples to apples here with the Jubilee. It's obviously a much more dressy bracelet, but for this watch particularly, and I think for the two-tone, having the oyster really makes this a gorgeous modern timepiece. And with all modern Rolexes, we see the proper milled clasp from Rolex, the modern interpretation of a clasp. Now, these are what clasps should be in 2021. You cannot put this wrong. You can't fault this clasp. It's amazing. The Rolex GMT Master 2, for me, is the perfect example of a two-tone Rolex. This is my favorite modern sports Rolex, and it's not even close, guys. There's something so impressive about having a sports tool watch that has gorgeous rose gold accents to it. Rolex have absolutely mastered this now. They have gone from traditional heritage two-tone dressy watches like we see on the Jubilee with date justs, and they're turning precious metal back towards the younger audience, a more youthful audience. And they're doing it with pieces like this, like the GMT Master 2. We see two-tone Submariners in yellow gold. I would love to see them do a Submariner in rose gold. I think it would look incredible. Until that time, the way to get the modern two-tone from Rolex is to get it in the Master 2. Before I leave you today, I don't just want to show you what Rolex is doing. I want to show you another brand that is doing something quite interesting with precious metal, making a modern interpretation of a traditional design. Check out the Bell & Ross BR01 92. This watch is a monster. 47 millimeters in precious metal rose gold. On a matte black case, on a black rubber strap. This is a very modern interpretation of what a two-tone watch could be. Rolex play it quite safe. They keep their traditional designs and they add precious metal. We've seen in the rose gold how well that works. Bell & Ross take that to the next level in this piece. Maxing out to 47 millimeters, matte black, full rose gold buckle on a rubber strap. Look, this watch is not going to be for everyone, but if I'm honest, there's something kind of cool about having an enormous rose gold and matte black watch on your wrist. I can't pull it off. I'm not big enough. I have 6.5-inch wrist. 47 millimeters just looks like it's wearing me. But for some of those bigger guys out there who want a precious metal but also modern watch on their wrist, don't go past this Bell & Ross. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you a fan of two-tone watches? Are you a fan of traditional yellow gold? Or are you also gearing more towards red gold and rose golds in your purchases? Have your say down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And as always, visit www.thewatchdealers.com.au. Check out our new stock. We've uploaded all of our new pieces. The website is fully up to date and fully stocked, ready for you. Until next time, take care.